Hi, it's Lee from the Japanese Water Gardens. Here are some top tips to help you with solvent weld pipe. Tip number 1. Why use it? Whenever possible, use solvent weld pipe rather than flexible hose. It is far more robust and will last forever. It doesn't restrict the flow as much as flexi, and you will be surprised how inexpensive it is. It is also very easy to work with. Choose a pipe size that is suitable for the flow rates of your pump. For a rough guide, up to 2,000 gallons per hour, 1.5" is okay. Higher flow rates, use 2". Larger pipe sizes such as 3 or 4" will be needed for bottom drains and gravity-fed filtration systems. To further promote good flow, use the minimum amount of pipe fittings possible. Try to use 45-degree elbows or swept bends rather than 90-degree bends. Tip number 2. Cutting the pipe. If you cut the pipe using a powered miter saw, take some safety precautions. Use goggles and gloves. Make sure you hold the pipe firmly in place and bring the blade down slowly. I have personally had a few near misses when the pipe has been snapped up violently by the blade and hurled back at me. It is for this reason I no longer recommend cutting it using a powered miter. To cut the pipe safely, use a handsaw with a small or medium-sized tooth rather than a hacksaw. It is much quicker and easier to get a straight cut. If you don't have a work stand or vise to hold the pipe steady whilst cutting, you can use the groove found on top of some toolboxes, the gap between the boards on a pallet, or perhaps the back of a chair. To cut a pipe that is awkward to access, a thin grinder disc is often perfect. Alternatively, a cable saw might just do it. You wrap it around the pipe and pull your hands backwards and forwards. Straighten up your cuts and rub off any rough ends. I prefer a file. Sandpaper works as well. Tip number 3. Measuring and laying out. When measuring solvent weld pipe, don't forget to add on the extra pipe that goes into the fittings. You can easily check how much this is by slipping the fitting onto the pipe, marking a line and measuring back from the end of the pipe to the line. Lay out your pipe and assemble it dry without glue. Then place clear marks onto the pipe. It will make sure that when you glue it back together, everything is lined up properly and in the correct order. If you have an awkward angle, a blow lamp can be used on the pipe. Heat it up evenly and you will find that it can be bent slightly without damaging the integrity of the pipe wall. Don't be too ambitious. Alternatively, a section of flexible solvent weld pipe can be inserted. It is extremely durable and cuts and glues exactly like the rigid. If you are installing an appliance such as a pump, UV light or heater, install a pair of union couplings, sometimes called brake unions or demountable couplings. They enable you to service the appliance without having to get out the saw. You got a stuck fitting? Try tapping it gently with a mallet, rotating it slowly. Eventually it will work its way loose. Tip number 4. Gluing up the pipe. Before gluing up the pipe, wipe the pipe and fitting clean with a cotton cloth dabbed with solvent pipe cleaner. It removes any contamination and softens up the surface ready to receive the solvent cement. Make sure the pipe and fitting are dry. If you need to glue a fitting where water is seeping back and you're struggling to dry it up, fill the pipe with a large plug of kitchen roll or newspaper. It will absorb the water and give you some time to glue up. When applying the solvent cement, spread a generous amount onto the pipe and into the fitting. Make sure that it is applied right up to the insertion line. Push the fitting onto the pipe all the way up to the insertion line. Give them a slight twist and line up the marks. Tip number 5. Solvent weld cement is fast acting. Once you have glued up a fitting, it will set very rapidly, but it is always best to have a cup of tea before you start up the pump or flood the pipework. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Post any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. It's bye for now from Lee at the Japanese Water Gardens.